guys, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Sorry, I'm going live a little late today. My bad. All right. Life happens though, right, guys? You're going to forgive me? All right, let me just share this on my other pages so I can have as many eyes on this as possible. Hi, good morning. If you're just joining, please say hi. Tell me where you're from. All right, all shared, good to go. Let me just take a sip of coffee. Yes, people are joining. Hi, guys. Hi. My hair's a little all over the place today, guys. It's all good. I got my universe hat on. All right, I'm pumped, guys, because I've been talking about doing a Facebook Live about victims for a long time now. And I think it's super appropriate with what's going on in our culture. And hi, Missy, thank you. I love it too. I think it's super appropriate to talk about it now. So let me just make sure the sound is off my computer. It is. All right, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Justine Luzzie. I'm a spiritual advisor, a spiritual teacher. I'm an intuitive coach. I do intuitive coaching. I'm also a crystal healer. And I'm also an angel card reader. So if any of those things interest you, let me know. I always drop my scheduler in the comments if you want to book some time with me to talk about how I could help in any of those areas. I'm also, I didn't add it yesterday, but I'm also an empathic supporter. I am an empath, somebody that feels energy very deeply. If this resonates with you, we should chat. I like talking about how we can manage our emotions because we are very different, right, from the rest of the world. If you're an empath, you understand. We process things a little bit differently than a lot of people. We have more of a sensitive central nervous system and all of that good stuff. So also we have some gifts. So if you want to talk about that, you can please go ahead and message me or, book some time with my schedule or whatever is more comfortable with you. All right, so let's get started. So I want to talk about victims because I think that there is a negative connotation when it comes to victims. Victims are anyone who feels like victims. There is no real definition. If somebody feels like they have been violated or wronged or taken advantage of, like I always say, feelings happen for a reason, and we need to pay attention to those feelings. Those feelings are happening because of something that is happening, and something that is negative that is happening. And it's not a bad thing to be a victim. If somebody breaks into your car, you're a victim of car theft. Not car theft, right? Car theft is if they actually take the car. If you are beaten by your husband, you are a victim of domestic violence. It's okay to be a victim. I think a lot of society tries to be super hard. And when I say super hard, it's like not showing any compassion for those that have been wronged. And I know it's a little confusing because in spirituality we kind of don't believe in right or wrong. I believe in extreme rights, extreme wrongs, but otherwise I'm pretty subjective. But that's why there's really no hard definition for me about victim, because victim is anybody that feels that they were a victim. So I believe anybody that says they were a victim until they're, unless it's a case of somebody trying to frame someone or do something for attention and, the facts are wrong and the things didn't really happen. But I believe anybody that says that they are a victim until proven. And they don't even have to prove it to me. Like, who am I? You know what I'm saying? So if somebody feels like they were victimized, they probably were. Because, like I said, feelings do not happen just to happen. They all happen for a reason. So that's the number one reason why I have not sat there and judged people based on what they what their accounts are of a certain situation. And I think it's important to remove judgment from when we're talking about victims, because who are we to judge, right, guys? Who are we to judge other people about, the things that they say or the things they say they were victimized? So that's another important thing, is to actually, remove the judgment from the situation and just listen compassionately. And like I said, another way that I like to actually say it is holding space for the victim. So I made some notes, so that's why I keep looking over here. But basically, at the end of the day, holding space, just allowing them to tell their story and tell their truth, is something that is the only thing that we could really do that will ignite healing. And that's the whole point, right? And that's kind of how we go from victimhood to survivor, which I'll explain in a minute. But that's how we do it. That's the only way things are going to get better, is if we hold space, let people tell their truth, and help them heal from the situation. There is nothing that's going to happen. There's nothing good that comes from victim blaming, or making people feel guilty, or maybe making people feel embarrassed, or telling them to get over it, or all of those things are all categorized under ego, because they are not helpful in this situation at all. It's not doing anything, guys. So, the best thing that we can do is hold the space, and we're holding the space for healing, truth, spirituality, all of this stuff to come in, so we can actually help them go from victim to survivor. So when people are stuck in victim mode, you can probably almost guess that the people surrounded by them are not listening to them, they're not holding space for them, and they're not really doing what needs to be done to ignite that healing. So keep that in mind when people are stuck in victim mode. I was actually talking to a friend the other day about people that become bitter, or are still angry, and they're still in this mode when they have been victimized a very long time ago. They're not taking the active steps to get there, and they probably don't have a lot of support around them, and a lot of people have to do it by themselves. So let's just, as the collective, we're all connected, just be as compassionate as you possibly can when somebody feels victimized. And I cannot stress it enough. Can I get some hearts if you guys agree? Hearts, likes, whatever. So you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from, and you understand what I'm talking about. So there's that. So I wanted to get that out there. Because at the end of the day, if it happened to us, we would want somebody to support us and listen to our feelings and think about how you want to be treated. And if you feel like, oh, I'm a hard ass, I don't really need it, well, maybe other people do. So you just need to understand that. And part of empathy is realizing that things that you maybe you have never felt can other people can feel. So just keep that in mind as well. So now let's get to the important part, which is, well, that is important, right? Very, very important. But let's get to the part where we can go from victim to survivor. And I always hate using the word strategies. It always just feels so super left brain for me. But I just feel like these are ways in which we can. So I guess we can call them strategies if you want, or tips or whatever. But these are, or maybe signs or ways to do it, of how to go from victim to survivor. So one thing I want to say is the number one way that you can get there, and if you're in this place right now, thank you for joining me. I honor you. I thank you for checking this out. The first way that you can do it is, and I always say this when I'm coaching, is half the battle is being conscious and self-aware. And here's the self-aware thing again, because I did a live on it yesterday, and I got a lot of positive feedback about it, but it really is everything, right? So half the battle is being aware that you are a victim and that you want to change and that you want to go to survivor mode. That's half of it. So that's the conscious decision to get help with the healing, that you have to realize that this isn't working for you. Being in victim mode is not working for you. You've already told your truth. You've sat in your feelings. You got it out already. It's time to move to the next level. You need to be conscious of that next level. You need to be conscious there is a next level. You need to be conscious that there has to be massive healing that has to happen in order for you to get there. Does that make sense? So number one is just being conscious. Number two is when we are victims, part of feeling victimized is a lack of control. So, and a lack of power. And that all rests in our root chakra. So, any way we can activate our root chakra, or any way that we can get our power back, that's how we go from victim to survivor. there are countless ways. There are different crystals that can get your root chakra open. Just all kinds of different ways. I can actually do a completely different Facebook Live on it, but I just don't want to. I'm actually going to write that down. How to open your root chakra. But that's one way. Get your power back, right, guys? This person who victimized you, this group that victimized you, they don't own you. They don't control you. They don't dictate your life. They don't. Only you do, right? And just remembering. I guess it is the remembering of, who you are, and that you're in control. That you're part of the creator, right? That you are the creator, and that you have the power, and you just need to get it back. And there are different ways that you can do it. So that kind of just goes into like the third thing, because I'm realizing they actually blend, is the victim. One way to go from victim to survivor is to not let the situation or the you being the victim control your life or dictate decisions. So that's really more about getting the power back. Another way where you can go from victim to survivor, or maybe this is a better way to say it, when you feel like you're ready, there's a lack of desire for revenge. And there's something I have to say on revenge, because I'm not perfect. Again, I'm a human being, and there have been times where I want to seek revenge on people. It hasn't been a lot, because I usually don't feel like that, revenge does anything, which I'll go into. It absolutely does not. What it is just an ego survival mechanism that happens in the moment. If you ever feel like you want to seek revenge, I would say meditate so you can get closer to love, because revenge just doesn't do anything positive for anyone. It certainly doesn't help you go from victim to survivor. So any lack of desire for revenge and more on healing is a step in a positive direction. And if people want to stay there in the revenge phase and plotting revenge for years and years and years and hoping something bad happens to the person, that could get them stuck. And that's another reason why people could be stuck in victim mode. And then lastly, this is really hard, because, and I just want to take the time to really talk about it, is when you feel love and compassion for the person that hurts you, the attacker or person who victimized you, that is so important, guys. And let me just tell you, it could take years, months, years, a long time, and that's okay. And I just want to say that's okay, and even decades, right? It's okay. I know a lot of times, for me, I'm very empathic. I just want to feel good feelings all the time. It's important for me and my energy. So for me, when I hate someone, and it's been very seldom times in my life, but there have been times where I really, really, really hated someone, and getting those feelings of love and compassion was a 4.5 year battle. And sometimes I do struggle. I still struggle. But that has helped me get to survivor mode for sure. And it's just really hard. It's really hard. You hear these stories about, mothers confronting their sons' killers in jail and having nothing but compassion for them. And it's just amazing, because it's like in a week's time, and you wonder, how the heck did they do it? It's possible. It's possible. You have to want it. You have to work on it. Basically you have to really want it, right? You have to really, really want to love and be compassionate to someone else. So I think that's really important. And you can never, when love is present, you can never be stuck in victim mode. You can only be in survival mode. So always remember that at the end of the day, love is always the answer, and it's so true with everything, right? Even with this. So I think it's really important when that love and compassion starts to step in, that you can definitely see that you've stepped in to survivor mode. Another thing I want to just add, those are my tips. Those are some signs of going from victim to, or how-tos on how to go from victim to survivor. But so one last thing I want to say though is this is ready? you, as the non-victim, looking at the victim, you don't get to tell the victim how long they should stay in victim mode versus survival. You don't get to tell them that they should hurry up and get over it. I know I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but you absolutely don't get to decide. And you don't get to decide how deep someone's pain is. That's number one. And I saw this metaphor one time, and I absolutely love it. Somebody drowning in 30 feet of water is no more of a victim than somebody drowning in 40 feet of water. They're both drowning, okay? They're both in pain. It doesn't matter in what context, right? Everybody's pain is the same. Everybody's pain should be respected. Everybody's pain should be held space for, right? And that's that. You don't get to decide other people's feelings. You don't get to do that. You're in control of one thing and one thing only, you. And you don't get to dictate, you don't get to judge, and you don't get to tell people to hurry up, and you don't get to dismiss them, because there's something happening in this country where we need to wake up and we need to realize that there are people being victimized right underneath our noses. And it's important for the truth to come out, and it's important for people to follow their truths and admit that they're victims. And we must hold space, because for this world to get better, that's the only way it's going to get better. Because like I said, holding space is a key activator in going from victim to survival. Okay? Does that make sense? Victim to survivor, sorry. So this is super important, this message, and I hope you guys take it with you. So give me some hearts if that makes sense. I'm just really passionate about the topic of healing. I think it's important. I think you can stay in victim mode for years and years and years without any sight of survivor. And I think that a lot of people are stuck in this emotional prison. And, what I'm really passionate about is spiritual healing and becoming emotionally free, right? And this is a way that you can. And I'm just hoping that this is super helpful. Sorry, I can't speak today, apparently, guys. But, and if you think that this will help someone, please share it. Please share it somewhere. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Sorry I was a little late today. I will be on tomorrow, and I'm really glad I finally got to speak about this topic. I'm excited. And if you guys have any questions, you can always message me. You know that. So I'll see you then tomorrow. Bye.